This is a story about courage, the kind that doesn't come when you feel strong, but when you feel broken and choose to act anyway. The rain had fallen for 3 days without stopping. At the edge of the village, the river had broken its banks, swallowing the rice field in a swirling brown current. Inside a small schoolhouse, Anaya, a young teacher, tried to keep the children calm, but her heart was heavy. Just 3 years ago, her younger brother had drowned in a flood like this. Since then, she had never set foot near the river when it raged. But tonight, there was no choice. Rescue boats arrived in the early evening. In the confusion, children were carried away one by one. The last boat left just as the water reached the schoolyard fence. Anaya turned to gather her bag and heard a faint cry. She lifted her lantern and saw a small hand waving from behind a desk. Little Arav. He had hidden there, too scared to speak. Her breath caught in her throat as she realized she was alone again, just as she had been when her little brother slipped away. Outside, the water was rising fast. She wrapped Arav in a blanket and peered through the rain. The old wooden bridge was the only way to the main road. It had been declared unsafe years ago. Anaya felt her knees weaken. She had never walked that bridge since the night her brother was lost. But the river was already pouring through the classroom windows. She had to decide, stay and drown or face the thing she feared the most. Trembling step by step, she walked onto the bridge. Every plank shuddered under her feet. Halfway across, lightning split the sky, and she saw something that made her heart stop. A massive log was wedged under the bridge support, splintering the beams. One more wave and the whole structure could collapse. She swallowed a sob and tightened her hold on Arav. "We will not die here," she whispered. Just as her feet reached the last plank, the bridge gave a cracking scream. Anaya pushed Arav forward and leapt onto the muddy bank. Behind her, the bridge split into two and crashed into the torrent. She lay there gasping, clutching the boy. But before she could even catch her breath, she heard a cry coming from the river. Through the sheets of rain, she saw another child clinging to a floating crate, drifting past the road. Her heart clenched in terror and memory. Her body screamed with exhaustion. Every memory of her brother's last moments roared in her ears. She could have turned away. No one would have blamed her, but something inside her refused to let go. She ran along the riverbank, matching the speed of the drifting crate. Her breath came in ragged gasps as she reached out, fingers staining. The child's tiny hands stretched back, their eyes locked in silent desperation. With one last surge of strength, Anaya plunged waist deep into the floodwater. Cold water seized her, but she held on. Her finger closed around child's wrist. Slowly fighting the current inch by inch, she pulled them both back to the solid ground. When they finally collapsed on the muddy bank, the child clung to her, sobbing with relief. And for the first time in years, she felt the weight she had carried lift from her heart. She had saved them both. She had broken free of her fear. That was true courage. Courage is not just facing the storm, it is reaching out your hand again and